At one point, I was head over heels in love with the Moonwatch. But Omega has made a tragic mistake, and I'm going to prove it to you and explain how it happened. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you exactly what happened to my very own personal search for a Speedmaster. Let's get into it. The Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch is a timepiece that has left an indelible mark on both horological history and human achievement. This legendary chronograph has been a witness to some of the most extraordinary moments in space exploration, with Neil Armstrong's iconic steps on the lunar surface. Its stainless steel body holds within it the spirit of human perseverance, the drive to push beyond the boundaries of what we thought possible. For over 6 decades, the Speedmaster has been a symbol of grand ambitions, captivating the hearts and minds of watch enthusiasts across the globe. And yet, it takes second place to another watch, a watch with arguably less significance and cultural meaning, the Rolex Daytona. And don't take my word for it. Look at this price table. The range for the Daytona is $20,000 to $94,000. And sadly, the prices for the Speedmaster falls much lower, from a low of $4,000 to $17,000. But we know objectively that the Speedmaster, especially the original Moonwatch, has far more horological history and cultural impact. So what happened? How can the Rolex Daytona be priced so much higher? And don't say Paul Newman, because he's not enough. It can't explain the huge gap in value perception by the public. For the modern watch collector, the journey into the realm of the Moonwatch can be a daunting one. With a vast array of variations, prices, and historical nuances to navigate, it's easy to feel like an astronaut adrift in space, searching for a guiding star. So in this video, I'll help you navigate through the complex world of the Omega Moonwatch, and I think you'll understand Omega's tragic mistake. The first problem is historical ambiguity. You see, all these timepieces proudly bear the Moonwatch moniker. Yet not every Speedmaster has actually walked on the moon. The true Moonwatch pedigree, the one that sets pulses racing and collectors' heart aflutter, belongs to a small, select group of references. These are the watches that have earned their wings, the ones that have been certified by NASA for the rigors of space exploration. Take the 105.005 or the 145.012, for example. These are the heroes of the galaxy, the timepieces that paved the way for the legend we know today. They've been to the moon and back quite literally and have the stories to prove it. But as we move into newer models, the line starts to blur. Marketing teams get involved, collector jargon muddies the waters, and suddenly every Speedmaster is a Moonwatch, regardless of its actual space credentials. And that's where things get a little tricky for the modern collector. And then there's the pricing maze. We also have to contend with the vast spectrum of prices that Moonwatches command in today's market. It's a range that spans a huge distance, from the heights of vintage treasures to the more accessible entry-level offerings. Take a pristine 105.005, for example. This piece of horological history can set your bank account adrift into the void. Its price tag reaching into the upper reaches of collectability is the kind of watch that you might need to sell a small planet to acquire. Yeah, it's expensive. On the other hand, a modern Moonwatch might be just a buckle adjustment away. It's still a big investment, but one that's within reach for many enthusiasts. But here's the thing, price doesn't always equal historical weight. You might encounter a limited edition Speedmaster that costs a small fortune, yet it lacks the true spaceflight heritage of a vintage model. It's like paying for a first-class ticket to the moon, only to realize you're on a simulation ride. And so, finding the right value proposition becomes a quest in itself. It's a journey that requires patience, research, and a keen understanding of what matters most to you as a collector. Do you prioritize the romance of space history, the thrill of owning a rare piece, or the satisfaction of a well-crafted timepiece that won't require a second mortgage? There's also the FOMO Trap. Beware the siren song of limited editions and discontinued references that can be oh so tempting. It's like gravity pulling at your heartstrings and your wallet with equal force. This Moonwatch with its special dial and numbered production will vanish into space tomorrow. Act now or regret forever. It's the kind of pressure that can make even the most level-headed collector break out in a cold sweat. The fear of missing out can be truly hard to resist. But resist the urge to succumb to the FOMO force field. Remember, the perfect Moonwatch is out there waiting for the right collector. It's not about who clicks the buy button the fastest, but who takes the time to truly understand what they're looking for. Impulse buys rarely result in lifetime connections with timepieces. Instead, take your time. Learn the stories behind each reference, the nuances that make them unique, and most importantly, let the watch choose you. Yes, you read that right. The perfect Moonwatch, the one that will become your trusted companion, has a way of making itself known. It's like a connection, a gravitational pull that draws you to the right piece at the right time. So don't rush, don't panic, and don't let FOMO sway your judgment. Trust that the right Moonwatch is out there waiting for you. There's also the problem of information overload. As you delve deeper into this world, you'll encounter a vortex of information, a swirling galaxy of technical specs, collector slang, and yes, historical dates. It's like trying to decode alien transmissions, terms like caliber 321, dawn, and pre-moon. The jargon can be dense and disorienting, leaving even seasoned collectors feeling lost in the information overload. But there are ways to navigate this maze. The key is to seek out reliable sources. Watch enthusiast communities, for example, can be invaluable resources. These are the people who've been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt, or in this case, the Speedmaster. They can help translate the technical talk, decipher the collector codes, and guide you through the maze of Moonwatch history. And then there are the books, the articles, the online resources that can fill the gaps and provide context for the Moonwatch. And most importantly, remember that knowledge is power. And when it comes to the Moonwatch, that power is priceless. The more you know, the more confident you'll be in your journey, the better equipped you'll be to make the right choices for your collection. So don't be afraid to ask questions, to seek out wisdom, to dive deep into the Moonwatch information vortex. Because in the end, it's that knowledge, that passion that will make your Speedmaster story truly shine. And even as you arm yourself with knowledge, there are still risks involved. These are the decision biases, the invisible forces that can sway your judgment and lead you astray. Take the anchoring bias, for example. This is a tendency to latch onto the first piece of information you receive, like the first price you see for a particular reference. That number can lodge itself in your brain, becoming the anchor point against which all other values are judged. But what if that initial price isn't a fair reflection of the true value? What if it's inflated or based on a particularly rare reference? The anchoring bias can blind you, locking you into a skewed perspective. And then there's the sunk cost fallacy, the temptation to keep investing time and energy into a particular reference simply because you've already invested too much time. This can manifest as endless research, hours upon hours spent poring over forum posts and auction results. We've all been there, all because you feel like you've gone too far to turn back. But sometimes the best course of action is to step back, take a breath, and to approach each Moonwatch with fresh eyes. It's okay to pivot, to admit that a particular reference or price point isn't the right fit for you. These decision biases can be tough to spot, like mirages that shimmer on the horizon. They're the invisible forces that can tug at your judgment, pulling you off course. By taking a moment to check your assumptions and question your instincts, you can navigate the Moonwatch with greater clarity and confidence. Remember, the goal isn't to make the fastest decision or to snag the first deal that comes along. It's to find the Moonwatch that truly resonates with you, the one that will be a cherished companion on your horological journey. And of course, there's brand influence. As you navigate the Moonwatches, it's important to remember that Omega, like any stellar brand, has its own gravitational pull. The brand's marketing campaigns can dazzle you, tempting you with limited editions, new releases, and the promise of horological perfection. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, to feel like you need the latest and greatest Moonwatch, the one that's making all the headlines and causing a stir on social media. But don't let the brand's orbit dictate your choices entirely. Remember, this is your journey, your story. You are the captain of your own horological ship, and it's up to you to chart your course through the stars. This means taking the time to research independent reviews, to seek out opinions from collectors and experts who are not beholden to the brand's marketing machine. It means exploring vintage markets where the stories of past Moonwatches can be just as compelling as the promises of the latest releases. And most importantly, it means considering your own personal tastes and preferences. Beyond the hype and the buzz, buy what you want. What speaks to you? What kind of Moonwatch makes your heart skip a beat? What style, features, and history resonate with your own unique journey? One thing has become clear: navigating the Moonwatch universe is no easy feat. It's a journey that will test your knowledge, your patience, and yes, your resolve. So that brings us back to my own personal search for a Moonwatch. What happened? Did I get it? No. The intense search for my perfect watch, the Moonwatch that would truly connect with me, burnt me out. With everything that I had learned and experienced during the hunt, it left me with a feeling that I'd already experienced everything the watch could give me, and I lost the fire. And I imagine that many others have felt the same. But there's hope, because here's the thing: the search can still be an adventure. It's an opportunity to discover something new about yourself, to push beyond your comfort zone and explore uncharted territory. It's a chance to find the timepiece that doesn't only tell time, but tells your story. And that's the real magic of the Moonwatch. It's not only a watch, it's a connection to something bigger. It's a link to the past, to the people, and the moments that have shaped our world. See you in the next video.